Alderman Nguyen.
Here.
Alderman Wilson.
Here.
Alderman Holmes.
Here.
Alderman Tindem.
Here.
Alderman Grover.
Here.
Alderman Rainey.
Here.
8-0.
We have a quorum. Due to a request of a citizen, I have decided to have citizen comment after after Mr. Stoneback does his presentation and Ms. Hurley, because then the citizens will know what the proposal is and what you're commenting on. So thank you, Mr. Bova, for that suggestion, wherever you are. There you are. City Manager.
Madam Mayor, members of the council, good evening. We're very pleased to be here tonight to share the results of the bids we received this morning on electric aggregation. Dave Stonebeck, our Utilities Director, Catherine Hurley, our Sustainable Programs Coordinator, here with the presentation. We have hard copies of the presentation available out on the back table. We'll have copies of the staff report online. If they're not already online, they will be. Is it already on? It's already up on our agenda website, so members of the public will have that as well. We provided it to the council and to the press as soon as it was done earlier this afternoon. Mr. Stonebeck, good evening.
Thank you. Mayor Tisdale, Alderman Clerk Green, City Manager Bob Quitz. I'm Dave Stonebeck. I'm the Utilities Director. Catherine Hurley and I have been working for a while now to get pricing for municipal aggregation, and we're pleased to present to you tonight the results that we got from the actionable pricing that we received earlier today. I'd also like to thank members of the Utilities Commission that assisted us during the initial evaluation and helped us set up some guidelines as we moved forward. We had 3 pre-qualified alternate retail electric suppliers that all provided proposals to us today. However, one firm, First Energy, was deemed non-responsive for failing to submit the proposal in accordance with the requirements of the RFP. But we did receive some very favorable pricing, and we'll be talking about that in a minute and giving you more slides on that. Based on the pricing that we received, we're recommending a 12-month term with 100% renewable energy option. We'll explain that a little bit further, but we're making the recommendation that the award should go to Constellation New Energy for a cost of 4.797 cents per kilowatt hour. When we went out to get pricing, we felt we should get pricing for a 1-year or 2-year term. When we presented our memo on March 26th on indicative pricing, the Utilities Commission and staff thought that if the 24-month price was within 10% of the 12-month price, it would make sense to go for a 24-month. The pricing that we received for the 24-month is slightly higher than 10%, and based on that, we feel that would be prudent to go with the 12-month term. We also decided to take prices for the standard state energy renewable mix, which is 7% in 2012. We also got prices for 75% and for 100%. And as you can see up here, the cost difference between the 100% renewable energy and the state mandate 7% is 0.0011 cent. So we're talking about a 100th of a cent. And based on that, the cost difference for the typical residential family that uses 9,000 kilowatt hours a year equates to $9.90 a year. That's the difference between going with the state mix and the 100% mix. We also were informed by the Constellation New Energy that the renewable energy would come from an Illinois or adjoining state wind asset, so it would be from the Midwest. This is a summary of the average cost savings. Right now, based on the average typical home, taking 9,000 kilowatt hours, they're paying roughly $696 a year. If we went with the state mix on our low price, they would pay $422 or savings of $274. If they took 75% renewable, they would pay $429 or have a $267 savings annually. And if they took 100% renewable, it's $432 that they would pay, and they'd have a savings of $264. So that's a significant savings, and we recommend that they do it. We feel that we've always recommended the council award 75% renewable energy to meet the city's greenhouse gas emission reduction goal. And again, in our memo on March 26, when we present the indicative pricing, we suggested that if the price difference between the 100% and the 75% was 0.001 or less, that we would go with the 100%.
Alderman Rainey has a question.
No, I'd like to make a motion.
All right.
Madam Mayor, I'd like to move that we accept staff's recommendation and go with Constellation New Energy for a 12-month term with 100% renewable energy mix at a price of .04797 per kilowatt hour.
Second.
Thank you, Alderman Rainey. It's been moved and seconded, but I think we need to have public comments.
Can I have a question?
Is that all right?
Yes, I just have a question.
Yes.
Now that it's on the floor. Dave, do you know what the, I see the savings for Commonwealth Edison's regular price to consumers. Do you know what is being charged to consumers who have already gone with an energy company? Alchemist?
That price varies. I would say that it's somewhere generally in the neighborhood of 6 cents a kilowatt hour. So again, by grouping together, we're obtaining
sure.
even lower prices.
But I was just wondering about what that was, but that's a good answer, thank you.
And then another benefit that we have is that something that we negotiated in our agreement. So people that are currently under a contract with a different alternate retail electric supplier will not initially be part of this aggregated group because they have to commit to their current contract. But we negotiate in our contract that at any time during the term of the contract, people can get into the program at our price and with our term and conditions, which is something I don't believe other municipalities negotiate in their agreement.
Alderman Holmes?
This is just a comment. On this past weekend, I received 2 phone calls, one from in my ward and one outside of my ward, in regards to solicitors coming again, knocking on doors with ID, with picture ID, saying that they represented the city of Evanston. That's why I got the call from out of my ward, because they said, when is the city sending people to your house to solicit? So my comment is that we need to do something for those folk who do not read the emails, who've not kept up with it, who didn't even realize maybe that we had a referendum, in terms of really being, I want to say, hoodwinked by people who are really trying to do these independent selling. So I don't know what we can do, but I think that we have to do something because some people are really not educated into the fact.
Thank you. Alderman Grover?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Mr. Stombeck, you're recommending a 12-month contract, and we can't project or predict pricing 12 months from now, but how's it trending, and what do you think, where do you think we'll be in 12 months? Will we be renewing and simply?
Well, no, our contract doesn't allow for renewal. We will go through the same process again of a request for proposal, and we'll get rates for 12 months, 24 months, 36 months, and for the different renewable options at that time. And again, come back to the council with the indicative pricing and how we would propose to go in the future. I have a graph, if you want to see it, of the past 5 years of electric prices.
I'm sure you do. My other question, though, is just for the benefit of those who might be paying attention, we don't need to go through the referendum process again. This is really just rebidding of the contract. It doesn't, once we've done the referendum and that's approved, we're coasted. We're at cruising speed at this point.
That is correct. And staff would take it upon themselves to always have new pricing established, so there would be an automatic transfer if we didn't go with the same power supply company next time. It would be an automatic switch to the next one. There wouldn't be a gap in between.
Great, thank you.
Alderman Fisk?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Good evening. Can you explain to me, Dave, the Northwest Suburban Electricity Buying Group? They have a one-year contract with an option to extend for 2 more years. Is that at the same price, or are they going to be, do you know if they're going to be renegotiating price? Right below that, the North Shore Electricity Aggregation Consortium is going to revisit prices every 12 months. But what about the Northwest Suburban Group?
I would have to believe that they will have to get new prices every 12 months. The rate fluctuates from day to day. There's no way that an electric company could hold this price 12 months from now without locking in for that term duration. So what they plan to do, in my opinion, is that they're going to stay with the same supplier, and they're going to ask for the rates at that time. If the rates are favorable, they'll just continue with that supplier.
Did these groups, the municipal organizations, did they give you these prices, or did the suppliers tell you what the prices were to the other groups?
I got them out in newspaper articles, and I
Okay.
happen to live in Skokie, so I know the Skokie price for sure.
Okay.
Alderman Wilson?
Thank you. A couple questions. Some of the other communities I saw also in just looking at some of the articles, the providers were offering, I guess, options for the renewable energy credits. That's not part of ours. We're just making a decision, right? We're not offering options to the...
That is correct.
Okay.
The Northwest Suburban elected to go with 100% renewable. The North Shore Electric Aggregation Group, they went with the standard state mix, and then after people decide not to opt out and they're in the group, then they'll be getting a notice from the supplier saying that if you want, we can provide you RECs for 25, 50, 75, or 100%, and that would be on each individual account to decide what they want to do.
Okay. As far as you're aware, has there been any analysis on, I realize we're locked in for the contract for the year, which is fine, it's a good price, but I'm just wondering what the impact is going to be on the renewable energy credit market over the next year, 2 years, because so many communities are buying into this high percentage, and that seems to me that's going to drive the demand up. Are you aware of any analysis on what that's going to do to the pricing?
There's a lot of different analysis out there. I know that at this time, there's more renewable energy credits available than what's being purchased, and that is subject to change in the very near future. It is my belief that as those credits if they're not readily accessible, then the price will go up.
Okay. And I can't remember the answer to this question or not. ComEd, they're locked in with the ICC pricing, right?
The power agency. Yes.
Is that coming offline? Are they going to be, I guess, in effect, is their own pricing going to be deregulated?
Again, there's speculation on that. It's the assumption that if the city of Chicago, with such a large group, goes to municipal aggregation, then that will default. The power agency, I believe, would default, and then everybody would be placed on real-time pricing. That's my understanding.
Okay. And it's my understanding Constellation is actually owned by Exelon. Is that?
They're a subsidiary of Exelon,
right.
yes.
As is ComEd.
Yes.
Right.
ComEd doesn't generate power at all. They're only a wires company.
Right.
That happened during that split, but Constellation and Exelon recently merged.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
All right, I think we're ready for public comment. Public comment is, as I think I have explained to everyone, scheduled for 10 minutes tonight because this is scheduled to be a very short council meeting. So everyone has a minute, and a little more than a minute if you're extremely good about switching places. The first 4 speakers are Nate Kipnis, Padma Rao, B.K. Rao, and Carl Bova. Please give your name and address.
Nate Kipnis, 1648 I've been to a lot of city council meetings, and, I got to think that this is a very difficult job you typically have, very contentious issues all the time, and very long hours, and you probably don't get to go to bed and have a good night's sleep very often. But I got to think this is when you signed up to serve the city of Evanston, this is perfect. And so what I'd like you to do is vote unanimously for 100% green power, leave here with a big smile, and have a great night's sleep. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I give my 1 minute to my daughter. Any objection?
Nope.
Padma Rao, 2246 Sherman. My comments were approved by my attorney. The March 2012 Evanston Sentinel article entitled "Vote March 20th for the Future" states, quote, "It is the opinion of the editorial board that since the owners of homes and small business have been given the power to negotiate with the electrical suppliers, they should not immediately relinquish this power to the city government," end quote. I trust this sound advice and have been trying to officially record my decision to opt out of any electricity aggregation scheme by the city. But my efforts to opt out have been stonewalled by the city. Why can't we say no to the city's intrusion into our contract choices? We do not want the city to pry into our electricity usage, account, supply, delivery, or any other such personal information. We do not want the city to interfere with or dictate our electricity contract choices. We are not imposing our decision on anyone else, so why does the city refuse to let us opt out? Why can't taxpayers follow the Evanston Sentinel's advice and make their own choices? Isn't that what the Constitution guarantees? See you all next time.
City Manager, perhaps you could explain how that can be done.
Absolutely. Madam Mayor, members of the council, good evening. There's nothing to opt out of before the council takes action. So once the council takes action, we will come back to you probably at your next regular meeting on the 14th of May and provide you a time frame specifically of how this will all work, whether the communication that will be made with our residents and how residents can begin to opt out. Again, they can't opt out of something that doesn't exist, and until the council takes such action, we won't have anything for any resident to opt out of.
But why can't we make the decision, since we've already made the decision, why go through the extra work when we can just register that decision right away and make everyone's lives easier?
Ms. Rao, I think that's been answered. If you have further questions, maybe Mr. Stoneback would be able to answer them.
That doesn't answer the question. It's simply a statement that you're making it more difficult for people to make their own choice and to make their own decision known.
I think the city manager explained to you how you could opt out, and it is Mr. Bova's turn to speak. If you'd like further direction as to how to opt out, once this vote is taken, there will be something to opt out of, and at that point you would be able to opt out. Mr. Stoneback will explain it to you further.
That is not an answer. It has never been explained in any sort of clear manner. Mr. Bova's turn to speak. Conclusionary statements are not an answer. So don't even bother pretending, because that's not giving anyone an answer. It's not giving a clear answer.
Mr. Bova, maybe you come over here and speak at the other side. Thank you.
I guess it's my turn to speak. Carl Bova, 1322 Rosalie Street. My 2 cents on the matter. To the city of Evanston's 30,000 households, a savings of $22 per month will yield an astounding $7.9 million into the pockets and the purses of each of the community on the whole. This will help to enable them to make purchases within the city, save some money, spend it on other things, maybe insulate their homes, whatever the case may be. This is a great deal for the city, and I strongly endorse it. My only reservation is, unfortunately, the 24-month term is a little bit pricey. Asking people to spend an extra $26 or so per month, it may actually still be worth your examination. given the uncertainty 12 months from now. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Jonathan Newsma, Eleanor Ravel, Sue Carlson, and Peter Arthens.
I'll defer to Eleanor. She's still here. Yes, she is.
She's coming.
Good evening. I'm Eleanor Ravel. I live at 2815 Lakeside Court, and I'm here tonight representing Citizens Greener Evanston. I'm the vice president. And I would just briefly like to reiterate our strong support for the 100% renewable energy option before you. It's really a very exciting opportunity for Evanston, first of all, because it will enable us to achieve the goal that the council set when you approved our signing the U.S. Mayor's Climate Protection Agreement. We agreed then to reduce our greenhouse gas emissions by 13% by 2012, and here it is 2012, and we will achieve that. And secondly, by going 100% renewable, you'll put us firmly on the path towards what's going to have to be our next emissions reduction goal, because we know our job is not done yet. Citizens Greener Evanston will be coming to you soon with a proposed goal for greenhouse gas emissions reductions for 2014, and by going with 100% renewable, you will help us keep going with this momentum and help us achieve our next goals. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Sue Carlson from 2679 Stewart. I'm here representing the Interreligious Sustainability Circle. You folks have already received the letter that had been signed earlier from a number of our religious leaders in town promoting the 100% option. But we have additional signers, and I'm going to quickly read actually all of them. The Reverend Tim Brown from Trinity Lutheran Church, the Reverend Deborah Bullock from St. Mark's Episcopal Church, the Reverend Jeanette DeFriest from St. Luke's Episcopal Church, the Reverend Charles DeKay from St. Matthew's Episcopal Church, Dr. Mary Catherine Deely from Shield Catholic Center at Northwestern, Cantor Howard Friedland from the Jewish Reconstructionist Congregation, Sister Christina Fuller from St. Nicholas Roman Catholic Church, Carolyn DeSuarta Gifford from Interfaith Action of Evanston, Tim Higgins from Shield Catholic Center at Northwestern, Asayo Horibe from Heartland Sangra, the Reverend Dr. Raymond Hilton from the First Presbyterian Church, Father John Karcha from the Shield Catholic Center at Northwestern, Father Tom Libera from St. Athanasius Roman Catholic Church, Rabbi Andrea London from Beth Emmet, the Free Synagogue, the Reverend Bonnie Jean Miller, the Reverend Richard Mosley, Jr. from Hemingway United Methodist, Reverend Janet Newman from the Unitarian Church of Evanston, Father Robert Oldershaw from St. Nicholas Roman Catholic Church, the Reverend Peg Otte, Rabbi Brant Rosen from the Jewish Reconstructionist Congregation, the Reverend Dr. Ann Rosewall from the First Congregational Church, Reverend Daniel Ruin from Grace Lutheran, Reverend Gregory Sakowitz from St. Mary's Parish, the Reverend Frank C. Sen from Emmanuel Lutheran Church, the Reverend Dr. Douglas Sharp, Lake Street Church.
Sue, if there are a lot more, maybe you could just pass them around.
3 more.
Okay, sorry.
Cynthia Splatt from St. Athanasius Roman Catholic Church, Father Bill Chachuk from the St. Nicholas Roman Catholic Church, and David Wilcoson from the Ethical Humanist Society. And on behalf of them, I'm delighted to hear that part of your your request for proposal was that these folks that may be already, these congregations that may already be on a plan that will not allow them to join this, that will allow them to join it as their others end, as their other contracts end. So we certainly hope that you will proceed with this recommendation.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Peter Athens at 1640 Maple Avenue. I'm here to advocate for 100% renewable energy. Of course, 2 years would be nice, but a year is fine because the prices are better, I guess. I'd like to thank you all for your time and for your consideration of this. For me, it seems like a no-brainer. I do understand that there's a little of extra cost in there to go 100%, but I think that if you weigh that against, the benefit of getting all of that carbon and all of that pollution out of our air, and the more and more people that go towards this, it's absolutely worth, I can't remember exactly the number, maybe it was $9 a year or something like that. You just can't quantify the cost of what that pollution does to all of us. So hopefully you'll vote unanimously for 100%. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, that concludes public comments. Seeing no lights for any further discussion. Alderman Wilson.
I do have a few comments, and it's not to rain on the parade, because I think it's important to go ahead and follow up with this. It's a good deal. It's important to support the renewable energy that's being produced in the country. But I've gotten a lot of correspondence. I've had a lot of calls from people who believe, and I've said this before and it was published, a lot of people believe that we are actually going to be getting electricity from renewable sources. And that's really not going to change. We're going to be buying electricity from Constellation Energy, which is a subsidiary of Exelon, which is producing the electricity that we're already getting. So we're not going to reduce the pollution in our area. We're not changing that, and that's unfortunate. So I guess what I'm just suggesting is that I'm issuing a challenge to people to continue to ask questions and continue to try to effectuate change. I'll sleep a little bit better tonight, but I'm not going to sleep a lot better tonight, because I know that this is a very, very small step, and we have a very long way to go. And until we make some real substantial changes, we're just passing along. I liken this to the companies that can buy the right to pollute. This is just sort of the inverse of that. We're buying somebody else's good deed someplace else and taking credit for it when we're not actually undertaking the good deed. So that's my challenge. Ask more questions and really work to effectuate real change. So that said, I will support the motion.
Thank you. City Clerk, would you call the roll?
Alderman Burris. Aye. Alderman Fisk. Aye. Alderman Braithwaite. Aye. Alderman Nguyen.
Aye.
Alderman Wilson.
Aye.
Alderman Holmes.
Aye.
Alderman Tindem.
Aye.
Alderman Grover.
Aye.
Alderman Rainey. 9-0.
Congratulations, 9-0. The motion passes. The city manager has an announcement.
Yes, Madam Mayor, members of the council, next Monday evening, we're asking that you come back together for a special meeting of the council to consider the final arrangements for the purchase of land associated with the Trader Joe's location that will be coming to Evanston. We also are still in need of having both of the standing committee meetings that are scheduled that night. So what I'm proposing is that we would convene at 6 o'clock for the Rules Committee. There would be one item, a Rules Committee agenda dealing with the public comment rules of the council. Then at 6:30, have the council meeting with the items regarding Trader Joe's, and then Human Services at 7:30. I think that schedule is doable, but wanted to make you all aware. So 6 o'clock rules, 6:30 a special meeting of the council, and then 7:30 Human Services.
Thank you. Could I have a motion to adjourn? Is there a second? All in favor? We are adjourned.
6:30.